Change is never easy, but always possible. Good afternoon. A warm welcome from my side. I'm Bert van Dam, the head of Global Center of Competence for the tank terminal industry at Siemens. The next 25 minutes will present our vision on the tank terminal of the future. And I can imagine that you're wondering why I used a quote from POTUS 44, Barack Obama. Well, first of all, in my opinion, he's a very inspiring speaker. Second, due to the energy transition, we are on the verge to change. And third, this change can only be achieved if we work together. Standing here before you because we believe in a sustainable society. Our mission is to accelerate the energy transition by using digitalization in an open ecosystem. With this transition, we are not going to sit along the sideline. We're going to do this together. And this morning, there were already very interesting presentations. The use of real-time data from Mr. Van Geuns of Vopak. Sharing data to improve supply chains from Mr. Noordhoek-Hecht. And using AI and autonomous drones for inspections. Because change is about collaboration and open ecosystem thinking, I want to build upon the previous speakers by asking you 3 questions. And please raise your hand if you agree. Is real-time data already adding business value to your operations? Just count under 10 from this entire conference. Okay, interesting part. Who is willing to share all data across the entire supply chain? Some hands over there, thank you. And are smart robotics already supporting your maintenance and daily operations? Also some hands over there. Thank you. Today we'll present our vision on how the tank terminal of the future could look like. How can you leverage data for your organization? And how can you contextualize that data and present it to all relevant stakeholders? And how to use that data for your customers and improve customer satisfaction? On these 3 questions, my colleagues Marvin and Nick will give you some unique insights. But before I give the floor to Marvin, let me share a short video about how we see the tank terminal of the future starting today.
Your demands, your flexibility, the vital role you play in society. Over the years, you've gone from fossil to blue, and maybe even to green. Even though in the last years, everything changed very fast, the pace will never be as slow as it is today. Everyone needs to work together to build open ecosystems that generate value. Nice to meet you. We are industry. And we are here for you. We understand you need to change to stay the same. Implementing supply chains, digitalizing workforce, and centralizing operations. Gaining flexibility without ever losing sight of efficiency. Whether it's order to cash or ship to shore, securing logistical flows or mitigate the risks to zero. Together, we can make it happen. Together, we drive the energy transition. Tomorrow is today. Also, if the next challenge is even bigger than ever before.
Also a warm welcome from my side. I hope you can hear me well. Let's see when we really fly to the Mars. I don't think it's tomorrow, but maybe we start then, as some colleagues here in this round, with data analytics and to really add value, right? And this not in, let's say, in 2 years, but already today, because you've seen it's already possible. And one sentence is really important. We, as Siemens, are there for you to drive your digital transformation. But what we also know, that the tank terminal market is much more than you and us, right? It's really to work in open ecosystems, to bring all stakeholders together. Logistics companies, maintenance contractors, loading arm suppliers, and so on. Because only then you can be really, really successful working together with startups and to really create value. Because a lot of people are talking about digitalization, but I think it's not only about talking, it's also defining use cases which really creates value. And we, as Siemens, know that this is, where's it now, it's coming, that this is only possible with collaboration, right? Maybe it's sometimes strange to hear that from Siemens, because maybe some years ago, hey, we were telling, buy everything from us and you are happy. Yeah, for sure you are, but we also know that much more companies are required to be really successful. Yeah? Because it's not about us, it's about you and your customers. And to make everybody in the supply chain, let's say, happy and that everybody creates value out of the business. And what you see here in this slide are buzzwords like supply chain integration, advanced planning and scheduling, IT-OT convergence. And yes, for sure, each of these topics is relevant, brings value, but the combination and the real or the real prioritization of these topics then really brings the value. And this for each company in a specific way. So it's also about defining, let's say, a realistic roadmap to achieve the targets you see here, adding business intelligence tools, and so on. And once again, the collaboration is the key, because we know that we are not, let's say, the tank terminal experts as you are, but for sure we are the experts in, let's say, other industries like chemicals, pharmaceuticals, also tank terminals for sure, but you really know your processes. And that's, I think, a key statement in the beginning. If you have a look at this slide, what you see here is, in fact, what is already described in the video. So we want that you optimize your throughput, that you optimize your ship-to-shore process, right? But we also know that it's about having the right order management, making the right management of the order income, and then also make the transactions right. But we also know that we do not do everything on our own. We do not want to do ERP systems. We have partners like SAP who can do that. But we are there then, for example, to bridging the gap between the ERP level to the field level, right? And that's where we are there. And we are also there, if you have a look at this short screen recording, that you make an advanced planning and scheduling, that you can also schedule your maintenance tasks to bring operations and maintenance together. And that's where we are there for you as Siemens. Because what we want is that you can focus on your customers and that you don't have to focus on your processes, right? So we want that you can really focus on business development processes and not that you have to handle, what do I have to do if a ship comes too late, for example, because you know it before, and that you can adapt before it's really happening. That's really important. And as already mentioned, I think several times now the last minutes, the open partner ecosystem, because what you see here is a digital twin scenario that, for example, you make an operator training before the plant or the tank terminal is running, right? That the operators know what to do if an incident is happening in this video, right? And this is only possible if we support open interfaces, when we support open standards, and if we support and integrate all suppliers and all stakeholders in a terminal. Then you can really create value, in this case, for example, for the service company, because they can train their staff optimally to save time and to also ensure the health of your staff. Next slide is about what we've already heard in the introduction of Bert. Okay, who is already doing data analytics? Who really has a comprehensive asset management? And I think we've seen after the response of this question that less people are doing that, right? And we know that we have to work together again to make it in a kind of co-creation maybe, that we find with our data analysts and our AI competencies the right solutions to really create predictive maintenance scenarios, even prescriptive maintenance, and to make this a success, right? It's not only about having a look maybe on a control loop, on a valve, it's much more, right? It's really, let's say, the ecosystem in the tank terminal, integrating all assets, all processes, and that starts maybe with corrosion management and ends then maybe adding drones as an additional sensor. But I think the combination of all of these topics leads then to success, and that's where we are there. And now Nick, my nice colleague Nick, will bring you some deep dive examples of that. Thank you.
So hello everybody. I think the main question that we should all be asking on the show today is what's in it for these people. So these are your maintenance managers, these are your reliability engineers, these are your operators. Why would they care about the terminal of the future? Because in the end, everything that we're talking about on this show today is to make their life easier, or to make it more, or to increase the hands-on tool time, increase safety. And we think you can only do that by leveraging data. I really liked the presentation of Fulco this morning. And we believe it's about getting that data in the right hands at the right moment, in the right location, at the right time. That's what you should be doing. But what is that right data? Like in the world where data is the new gold, it's about finding nuggets, right? So it's not different than it used to be, but it's a different discipline. And if we look at these challenges, we see we have to work together because it's not only about OT data, what we know really well at Siemens, it's also involving the IT people. It's getting that convergence together, because how else can you make predictive maintenance work? Predictive maintenance is not about putting a sensor on a valve or putting a sensor on a pump. It's about actually getting all the data that is in that valve, which is relevant, insightful, into a model that actually helps you. So that means you want to have, for example, vibration data that comes from a sensor that has been shown here on the stands, which can actually tell you what does the reliability of this asset do. But what does that really help? You want to know, when is it last serviced? When does it needs to be serviced? How can I put that into my AI-based scheduling? Because if it can be serviced in a week, and in 2 weeks I have a really dense schedule of ships coming in, then you want to have it repaired before. So if you have an engine or you have a pump that is telling you, I'm going to die next week, then you're probably really sad. But you're probably also thinking, I need to do something. And having that integrated into all these systems, having automatically telling that to your customer, like your ship can only be loaded a day later because my assets are not here, that is really interesting. Because that means that data is adding value to your terminal. So your customer service manager, again, is automatically aligning all relevant stakeholders in their planning when she knows the pump is going to break down, or whatever asset we're talking about here. Your operator is on time by adapting his lineup to avoid demurrage. Your maintenance manager has predictive maintenance in place and can fix it before the problems start to happen. And at the end, you have your reliability engineer that actually has a plan when these things happen, and we know based on data, we have a data-based decision-making model that actually helps us doing this. It sounds so logical, but still, as Siemens, we are here at the show, we see a lot of separate parts, but the lump sum is not there. It's not really there. We see it more and more, but this is the challenge that we are facing today. This is the challenge that we want to solve. And I think it's nice to say that these things already are being solved in the industry. It's what Marvin said. We have a lot of customers in chemical industry. We have a lot of refinery customers. They are already integrating these supply chains, leveraging GPS data from trucks, trains, and ships that come in and go out, using stock position, getting the real-time data out of the ATGs of the tank, looking on what's happening on an asset management perspective, all the way in telling your customer, you probably don't want to go to River Plate this week, but go to Colo Colo because that terminal is available this week. And that means exactly what Marvin said. This is exactly what we mean, and you want to be busy with supporting your customers. You don't want to be working on only getting your day-to-day tasks and running behind it. That's what we're trying to say. Obviously, this is made-up data, right? But these systems are already there. These are already being used in industry. A lot of customers of you are probably using this as well. But you can also simulate, how is my production working? How can I load trucks? What can I use, what can't I use? Again, just in a simplified example, but getting a data-driven simulation model of your terminal to actually calculate if you can get the throughput that you have designed to do so, that's something that you can start doing yesterday. Not today, not tomorrow, you can start doing this yesterday. Sounds hard, is already out there. Proven technology. But also, if we look at other things, like for example, you want to store hydrogen carriers, where you normally are storing oil, what does that do to your entire terminal? How can you leverage a brownfield into a new world where, for example, fluid hammering comes into place? What does the new viscosity of the new products do, or what does corrosion do with the existing alloys of the piping that is in your terminal? That's a big question. You don't want to do that based on an Excel sheet. You want to do that based on a simulation model that accounts for the variables that you need to make sure that you can make this happen. This is just an example. We can go even further than this, but I'll save you the trouble today. And if you're in the field, you don't really care about that simulation. You care about having the data of the asset, having an AR model instead of a manual, and that's the level you want to go. But that's also a challenge to us. So if you buy a drive system from Siemens, you should be asking for an AR model because you want that in your system. And same goes with all your other suppliers. We're not saying here that we do everything perfectly. We're just saying we need to do this together. Your requirements make us move faster. And that's how it's supposed to be. That's healthy in a good market like this. And that's what we want to say here before I give the final words to Bert. We have to work together. Again, if we work together, we can achieve great things, we can achieve great productivity, and we can learn from each other. We are just simple technology guys, but you own the terminals. And you should challenge us, and we think we can give a really good answer.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. Thank you, Marvin, for the very interesting presentations. It's clear. We are here to support your business. We are here to support your business for your customers. And we can talk for hours. We even have a digital experience center for our disposal to even extend it. So if you are interested and you want to know more, you can visit our booth, H16. And for now, I would like to thank you for your time, your presence. And I think we have still some time left for some questions. So are there any questions from the audience? No questions? Well, thank you for your time. Much appreciated. And we hope to see you at our booth. Thank you.